No, you didn't come and say hi to me. You came in and I was already here.
Everybody is there. Oh, man.
Right.
Yes, to stay at the heart.
Well, you, that's fine. Well, I even said hi to you over there, yelled at you. No, I didn't, not any.
These two.
Yeah, well, just.
Oh.
You wrote a little note on top.
1 minute.
Mr. Beach, I wondered if you would like to wear a crop top. Like in college basketball. Shoulder.
Any Barbarino? You know, switch. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, come on. That would have been a good one right there. We put out. Yeah. Little V-neck with.
No me
Buona Shannon.
Shannon, she's got this skill.
Yeah, did you talk to him? Yeah, he's really nice.
Well, remember, we were texting back. and
Yeah, I
forth.
never saw it.
First phone.
Let's see.
Okay. So. It's 5 o'clock. Time to call to order. Governing board meeting here at Santa Cruz Valley Unified School District 35 Governing Board Room. 570 Lito Galindo and good old Rio Rico. Would everybody please stand for the pledge? And Mr. Beach, would you lead us, please?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America. To the republic. Stands. Nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Roll call. Mr. Joel Kramer.
Present.
Ms. Susan Fobian.
Here.
Ms. Lourdes Vasquez.
Present.
Mr. Brad Beach.
Present.
And I, Annette Ramirez, that makes it Fab Five, forum here. Do we have any calls to?
We don't have any calls to the public.
You want
Adopt the agenda first. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Mr. Lugo? No recommend changes, thank you. Okay, thank you. Do I hear a motion to present the agenda as submitted?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. So motion passes 5-0. I'm sorry. So call the public. Thank you, and I appreciate that. Okay, so. Yeah, spelling bee. Want the district spelling bee recognition, Mr. Shadler? Go ahead, we're gonna.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. We did invite when we had the spelling bee last Tuesday, as you probably know. And the way that works, all the sites have have their representatives come and we crown a district champion. And each of the site winners, as well as the district winner, all next week. So we invited, they received their award, their certificate. Last week at the competition itself, it was in this room. This is Trish Bejarano was our facilitator. Andrea, one of our pronouncers, and our judges were Jackson, Tony Chandler, and another principal, and I'm forgetting the name, so I apologize.
It's Jackson.
Jackson, Chavez, and Tony Chavez. I just, for the sake of the record, anyone who might be watching, I want to look forward to their overall district champion was Vika Hetherington. She's a Code Monday Middle School 8th grade student. Also, our other winner, she will be moving on to the county, as well as Hugo Arenas from Calabasas, who also was a 6th grade student. Renata Reyes Rascon from Calabasas, who's a 5th grade student. So Calabasas does have 2 entries as elementary and middle school. Renette Chavez from Mountain View is a 4th grade student, and Kimberly Martinez from San Cayetano is a 5th grade student. So we will have representatives from the room. And, it was a really well attended event, and I think, what, 22 rounds? We had a significant number of rounds, most rounds that I've had, I can recall in recent memory. It was adding to the drama, there were 2 opportunities where somebody could have won, but the rules are when the next to last person makes a mistake, the remaining person must spell the next word correctly, and they did not. So then the previous person comes back in, and you basically go into overtime. And that happened twice. So lots of drama, but it was, I think, a really,
Oh, no. Congrats to all of them. Yeah, when I entered the spelling bee contest, I was gone in the first round. A lot of stress for those students.
Yeah.
Sounds like a testament every year that no matter what happens, that you won't learn one word this year that you'll never forget. And I tell them somewhere in the 1970s, I misspelled marionette, and I've never made that mistake since then.
Good job.
Good job.
Mr. Kramer.
Good job. We saw it in the international too. That was good.
Good job.
Spoken, anybody have? Wow. I was wondering where our crowd pleaser Daniel Woodburn was this year. I was expecting him to be here.
You can't continue competing. There's an age limit here.
Although if you saw in the newspaper, or our newsletter that he did win an FBLA award.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he finished second in parliamentary, so he could actually come and show us how to run a board meeting.
Oh.
Okay, moving right along, governing board recognition, Mr. Radu.
Thank you. So it is Board Recognition Month, and so we wanted to thank the board members. And so just so the community knows that the board members who run for office is a nominated position. And so the board is, serve the public. And so thank you for your service, your time, coming to meetings, attending conferences, and really supporting the district. This is my 9th year as superintendent, and I believe we've been very successful as a district, but a lot of it is because we've had a very successful board. We've had a very cohesive board that has really helped us continue to grow and move forward. So with that, each of the school sites has provided some gear. I want to thank Angie for putting it all together from the sites, and then also provided Sodexo. They provided some hors d'oeuvres this evening. So again, we just want to say thank you to the board for all of the things that you do for the district, and again, making sure that we're successful. So, each of the sites has provided gear, other stuff in there. So again, thank you for everything. Those who run the block.
Yes, thank you, everybody, for all the gifts. They're awesome. There's so many gifts, so much stuff. I was talking to Mr. Schaller about how there's a skit by George Carlin regarding stuff. You should see it sometime. But I'm very grateful to all the principals, all the years that they've given me all kinds of things, and I'm sure I can say that safely for the rest of the governing board. We thank you for all the stuff that you've given us over the years, all the gifts, and for all the food and everything done. And thank you, Angie and Mr. Radu, for always spoiling us every time we go somewhere, and Shannon too. So, and Cecil.
And so actually, we have a request that if we could take a picture with you in front of all of the gifts so that we can send that to the international.
Right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
I don't know where Shannon.
Then. Not a short. Yes.
Let's get.
President.
You're in the middle. President.
Yeah.
We'll do like this with each other.
All right.
It's crazy.
Hey, right?
Got it?
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
See myself.
Sing Kumbaya.
Hey.
Sorry.
Connection.
Did get the right size
I
this
know.
week. Well, some of.
I was trying.
Is there? You would not. She wouldn't do that to you.
Okay, moving right along, construction update, Mr. Arturo.
Construction update. So thank you. Today, I think we just have Brian here for our construction update. So every second meeting of the month, we have ADM come in to give us an update. So we go ahead and turn it over to Brian.
Thank you for having me. And we have good news as we get ready to push forward into February. Not much has changed as far as the slides, until we get towards the back half of the project. Because we're seeing lots of movement on the main campus at the Rio Rico High School project. Starting off, we'll start with the, Calabasas added scope, for the, cameras and the access devices on this school. I'm being told, by the contractor that all of the devices and the cameras and the access controls are, in place. They are now tying their projects all back into the control board or the landing points in the IDF rooms. And then we'll be having the, big, staff training and things like that, so they can really learn how to operate all the cameras and do all this stuff either by phone or however we want to do this. Same with all of the devices have been installed and they are working this week and into next week, putting in all of those landing points and wiring that back, as well as Mountain View. And with Rio Rico High School, I have been told that the district office is complete 100%. And that the only thing we need to do here is once we start doing all that staff training, that'll be part of that as well. The field lighting project, I've taken the Badamundi pictures off and the Calabasas because those have been completed for quite some time now. All of the poles have been set in place. And we are now have set the new SES here. This is where all the power will be coming in from the transformer to this. We had an existing 200 amp service, and because we have all of these new lights, you have your tennis and you have your football with the new bleachers and hopefully the CTE building. We needed to upgrade that service. So we put in from 200 to 1200. And now that's that service there. We are waiting for inspections and for Unisource to come out and do whatever they do, so that we can get this final and get this taken care of in 100%. I'm being told that that'll just gonna be a couple more weeks, and then this project will be done. The JROTC obstacle course, we had a design meeting tentatively set up for tomorrow. We have had difficulty. This is a very specialized type of procedure or a lot of insurance issues and things like that. So this is a very specialized type of construction. With that, we have been dealing with only a couple vendors and getting them out here and getting them set up on times and when we can have meetings has been difficult. We are still working on that. Like I said, this meeting tomorrow has been canceled, but we are working with them to do a virtual option and then do an on-site version. So that at least this is going to continue to move forward.
Brian, can I just cut in real quick with that? So,
Yes.
so I'm just gonna want to share with the board, this has been something that we wanted to do over 2 years ago. When we went out for bid originally, no one bid for that project. Because it's very specialized. And so we looked at other entities that have built similar obstacle courses. And the interesting thing that we found is they built them themselves. And so we don't want to go that route. We want to make sure that whatever we do is the high quality that we're investing the money within the district using the taxpayers' dollars. So that's why we're in this process, and we're we had to go through a lot of different things to get this done. But we continue to promise ROTC we will get it done. But in the meantime, we have transformed the warehouse into their shooting range. So that's something that we were always trying to do as well, and they held their first competition, I believe, in ROTC. So ROTC is, if you hear otherwise, we're supporting ROTC. I just want to make sure that very clear, but I know this is a big piece of what they want to do. So.
That's correct. And to further that point, that's one of the reasons why we're pushing for a virtual, just to keep it moving forward and get us back in the forward progress. Moving on, this is again the pool building, which is scheduled to be rebid. It's actually, the opening will be on the 17th. We did our our pre-bid walk prior on the 24th. And now that is in the bidding process. We have had some emails back and forth, just asking a few questions. And so we do have some movement with some contractors on this. So that's a good sign. And again, just to kind of reiterate what we've talked about before, this is going to be have a diving pool area, the regular splash pad for kids. It's 6 to 8 lanes. It's going to be competition worthy. And then we have our 2 outdoor buildings, which will be restrooms and stuff like that, as well as the pool equipment portion. And I went too far. No, I didn't. And so this should all come into play, and will be a nice facility out there.
Brian, can you go back one slide? So that again, the targeted April completion of 2024. So we just want to make sure that the board and anybody's listening that they understand what happened. Again, we went out and did the same thing. No one bid for that project, even though it was $4.1 million. So we've had to come back, and one of the issues was the time, some extended time because of all of the supply chain as well as other things that are happening. So we wanted to make sure that the community knows this was supposed to be done this previous year, but with all the different things happening, construction is pushed to an April 2024 completion date. So it is now again in the process. We'll have new bids February 17th, and then we'll move on from there. So just wanted to be able to share that.
Correct.
This information gets into TUBAC.
Yes, it goes to everybody. So anybody that does receive that information that tunes in also receives the minutes, all those type of things. So
Yeah, thank you.
you're welcome.
House, which is currently on hold. Unfortunately, this one is being looked at for state, the SFB funds, which probably won't go into play until around June when they start doing their budgetary looks and projecting what they're going to do with the future. However, we have brought this one down and hope that we can get this within some sort of range where we can build this. And we are very confident, I'm not confident, I'm sorry. We are very hopeful that this will get moving forward. This is where the CTE building sits. Moving on to the main campus at the Rio Rico High School, a lot of progress is being made, as I said earlier. The exterior of the building 900, this is a picture of just a couple days ago. They've actually started the Western One Coat and the stucco system, which will go around the exterior of the building. If anyone doesn't know what that is, it's just a cement type plaster that goes on the outside, which then gets painted. And then the banding around the bottom is the stucco, as well as some trim and things like that around doors and windows. That's also part of the weatherproofing. So once that is complete, then this building is dried in, is what they call that. So then they can really start moving forward with insulation and drywall, tape and texture, and moving on into those components. From the contractor projected schedule, this outdoor part should be done by the end of this week, and they have insulation and drywall starting on Monday. Showing that we now have all of our mechanical units in place. So this was something that we were waiting a long time on. One of the reasons why we had to push out was because of some of the mechanical units. And we now have those have all come in, and we have those all set on the roof. And with that also being said, ductwork has begun on the inside. And in order to do the mechanical unit, you also have to have the roof done and ready, which obviously must be. The cafeteria has been slow going only because we need to move the expansion out to the north before we can really start getting into this. However, they have moved forward with some of the painting and some of the flooring, which we've seen already in the past, as well as the millwork for our coffee station. And where the plywood is, I don't have a shot of it, but we do have our new roll-up shutter that goes up to the outside, so we can access it from that side. Part of the movement that we're having out there is we've gotten high enough with the lower level, so now we have steel in place, and we have our upper deck, which is going to be the media center above these two specialty classrooms. This was a very positive sign. One, because the steel came in, and two, because we were able to get that, and now we can continue moving vertically with the second floor block. Also, a good sign was the weatherproofing, which is going in between the existing, what used to be the basketball court where we've dug down, and the courtyard or plaza area. This was a big step because we can now put in our slurry fill, which is gonna fill this whole void with concrete and make sure that that wall is solid, doesn't move, and that we can continue to go vertical on this element. And with that portion completed, we can now move on to the expansion of the cafeteria, which is the pad where I'd be standing, looking at the other wall. So we can move forward with that portion of the project as well. One of the things that SD Crane has been doing in order to meet our substantial completion of 6-1 is they've had additional crews working. They have no less than 12 people, masons on board. They also work weekends and stuff like that. And this is just a shot showing that they're continuing to go vertical. They have more people on hand, and they are able to move at a faster rate. As of today, when I was out there, we've actually gone an additional almost 8 feet, and we have all the windows set in for the second floor or the media center floor. So positive movement.
Are those local employees?
Those employees are out of Tucson, I believe. That's where they were able to get the masons. We could.
No, if you could, because I thought that we had some local employees working as well. So I was notified of that, but I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, we can find out for you. Another shot, this is showing, since the steel is in place, we were able to now put in the floor deck as well. A lot of it has been tacked down, and this is now ready to get what's called the concrete topper or concrete slab on which will be poured on this. And that'll be part of the next step as we move from the cafeteria expansion into the media center portion. And then we have our classroom building of the 900. This shows those 4 classrooms. The work that we're doing in the cafeteria. That slide showing the cafeteria existing stage and kind of the layout of the new furniture. And the expansion of the cafeteria and that new media center space. And I think our last slide is the lower level. So again, lots of positive movement, lots of things happening out there. Any questions?
Ms. Fogan,
I have no questions, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Ms. Vasquez.
I just wanted to see that there was one question that I had way at the beginning. Sorry, but it says here that some of these projects are done as of today.
Yes,
they're complete, like the cameras and all that stuff? Does that mean that the cameras are now functioning?
The
Or
camera,
not yet.
the cameras like at this office here, the cameras and all the devices are operational.
Mhm.
All the cameras and devices at the other campuses are in place. What they're doing for the next couple of weeks is taking all that wire and communication and taking it to the panels so that they can become operational.
That was my question. Yeah, so in other words, they're not like at Calabasas at CTMS. and-
So what's called substantial completion. I
Yes,
guess.
there you go. Okay.
So that means it's pretty much everything in place now, just the final touches.
Yeah, and like I said, the people need to learn how to use them and all that stuff. So, okay, I got
That
it.
walkthrough needs to happen, so we need to verify that there's nothing to change or adjust.
Mhm. Okay, That's awesome.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Beach,
I have nothing. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Kramer.
Thank you, Brian.
I was just wondering how much solar power do we have incorporated into all this? Because when I first came on the governing board, I remember challenging you guys and saying we should really push solar in our district. I was just wondering every time that we do a big thing like this, big construction.
Yeah, nothing within this current construction, but it's something we'll be looking at. So it's something in the current projects that was not incorporated, because we already did all of the energy efficiency and all of the new building is very energy efficient. So that's one of the things that we'll be looking at in the future, for future projects is adding solar for, one of the things that we've done with this current bond is like water. So we have our own wells that we're utilizing for tank and all those things. So then those energy savings are being seen, and then also the board approved years ago for us to do all of the lighting, energy savings and things like that. But as far as a new project, that's something that we'll be exploring with solar in the future.
Okay, thank you, sir. And thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
The long superintendent's report.
Thank you, appreciate it. We'll share a few things. Sports continues. We have a lot of wrestlers. I know that I think that the girls competed and we had 2 second place finishers. And so I want to congratulate Sophia Matria and Genesis on their 1-2 finish, which is great to see in the progress. Thank the board for attending the Bolts conference on Friday, so that our learning experience, as I mentioned, with the board, it's unpaid. So when you're taking time to attend conferences and learn about the board, Mr. Estrada, he was named the student government principal of the year for the state of Arizona. So congratulations. The student government received the highest award for student government with distinction at the state meeting. So congratulations to Rio Rico High School for that as well. Also, just an update on the aggregate expenditure limit. It has gone to committee, and so we're hoping that we'll see some movement with that. Because we know that for us, we've been doing our budget for a while now, but we can't commit to a budget until that is decided, and the deadline is March 1st, so that's coming fast. 30 days away. So we want to make sure that we're prepared for that. But the good news is that there's a lot of conversation that they'll be lifting or providing support for the EL being supported by the legislature. So I just wanted to update the board on that. We'll continue to try to get that moved forward. Because again, it is for us close to $4 million that would be affected in our district. And that's 1.6 billion, I think, statewide that would be affected. And I think the community knows that and the legislature knows that, but of course they're using it as a political football. But I wanted to just update the board to let you know that we're in constant contact with individuals to try to move that forward. So, thank you.
About how you and Ms. Brown pushed that very hard. So thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you.
A lot of money for us.
Yes.
Okay, moving right along, governing board member report, Ms. Fobian.
Thank you. I loved all the principal reports. It was great to see all that. It was fun to see all the creative ways that the 100th day was celebrated. I thought that was great. And I think the kids need to understand how important that 100th day is to whole picture of their education. That was great. And the activities that are going on. And I enjoy, again, the social media that just really keeps us up to date with what's going on. So really well done. Thank you.
Ms. Vasquez?
Okay, well, I just wanted to say that I attended the ASBA Bolts Conference on Friday. And for me, it was very informative and therefore very educational for me, because I'm learning everything. Every time I go to a conference or to a, something like this, I bring back a lot of knowledge that I get from there. So I was very happy that I was able to attend, okay? I wanted to congratulate Mr. Estrada for getting the AASC Administrator of the Year. Job well done, okay? And this is for the state of Arizona, am I right? And it was from all the letters and everything that the student council students did. You didn't even know that you had gotten it, Mr. Estrada. Okay, so it was, I know that he was nominated by all the student council students, so it's like, I think it's really awesome. Congratulations, I think it was really, really good. I also heard that the A+ interviews went very well for the Rio Rico High School, am I right? Okay, yeah, that the A+ committee was very impressed with everything that they saw, but that they were especially impressed with our students. And I think that that's amazing because we have the best students in the state, and I don't care what anybody says. Okay, so anyway, I think so. Anyway, so another thing is that, okay, I just wanted to give a shout out to all of our kids in the district, because next week is the Azella testing. Okay, for the whole district. And just, I know it starts on Monday, okay, and just wanted to encourage all of our students to do their very best. Okay, they've been working really hard all year with their teachers, with everybody. And I think this is something that is very important for them to understand, that it is important for them to get out of that comfort zone, because a lot of the kids stay in that comfort zone because they feel safe with their teachers and they feel safe with, and they don't want to move on. And some of them, I know for a fact that some of them jeopardize what they're supposed to do, even though they know what they have to do, they don't, just because they want to stay. But I think that they should move on, because I think it's a good experience for them to be mainstreamed into the regular classroom. So I just want to let them know that, do the best that they can, and, very proud of them with whatever they do, because I know they're going to do fantastic. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Beach?
I think Mr. Verdugo and Lourdes, he stole everything. Yeah, but congratulations, Hector. Outstanding job with your nomination. So congrats there. School principals and your respective school sites for these amazing gift baskets. Appreciate it. All the donations that I seen in the agenda. Thanks to all the individuals that are donating. Our spelling bee participants. Congratulations for taking part in that spelling bee. And those moving forward, good luck. And to Julie Pretzler for giving us these Girl Scout cookies, and these are my faves. Caramel filled chocolate with a hint of sea salt cookies. So thank you, Julie. Yes, that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Beach. Mr. Kramer?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Nurse. Thank you, principals, all of you that are in attendance tonight. Thank you for it's more than swag bags. I mean, that's a swag container there. Thank you, all your principals. Thank you for your reports. Always good with pictures. Mr. Jackson, I asked and you did it. So thank you for doing that, because now you're ready to do with everyone with the pictures, 1,000 words. It's very nice. It is well done for all of you though. I mean, all of you do it, but certainly the pictures are good. I just want to thank also for, as a board, we don't always attend stuff, but certainly now the legislation is kicking up. And granted, I have it right in front of me because Arizona Capital Times is a very important magazine that I always felt that was important, and certainly Ms. Vasquez, if you don't get it, you should. I know the rest of us probably, some of us do, but certainly it keeps us aboard. I know we talked about that a few years ago when I was getting it. But certainly the governor is already targeting results based funding, one of our principles. That does impact us. I don't know where we stand on that, but I was told that all superintendents support getting rid of it. So hopefully that doesn't happen, because I think it's good for competition, especially in our district, even though we are a Title I district. that's what they were saying, that we're losing funding, but I think it certainly helps to keep it going. And that's just my opinion, but certainly I think our kids can obviously, we can do it in this district. We've proven that. Hopefully it doesn't go away, because I think it's certainly something that, as I think Mr. Verdugo said, we're not scared of anybody. Well, I think that holds true with what we're doing too, but hopefully it doesn't happen. And the rest of it is just obviously political stuff that will come out into the board of what they're doing in the next 2-3 months at the legislation. Hopefully they figure out, like you said, with this funding, that I'm sure they will. So with that said, and again, welcome back to everybody again. It's I know we've been with a month, but hopefully we get to see how good of our attendance rates are too and everything else on that, because that's important to us as a board. Because that's what floats our boat. So. All right, thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Like Mr. Beach, I want to thank Julie Pressa for the cookies and also Chef Luis Nido. The great presentation of food. I was telling the superintendent as we were looking at that. As the superintendent mentioned, he does a great job. So thank you so much for all that you do. Again, for spoiling us all the time. So we appreciate it very much. And I wanted to highlight Tony Shadler. She's a person who always steps up to the plate for us in the district, as she has recently, and she's sharp as a tack and real classy and dedicated and conscientious, and uses great language, of course, you know, Steve, and just and has a lot of character, something that we always look forward to, and where we think is one of the roots in being a good administrator. So hats off to her and her energies at Guatemunti, and man, look at all that she's done for us in the world of running too. And my gosh, she's a real big plus to our district. I want to highlight her tonight and thank her from the bottom of my heart for all that she does. Thank you so kindly. Okay. So, information, discussion, action here. Does anybody want to prioritize? Does anybody want to add anything to the agenda? The future agenda?
Nothing, thank you.
Vasquez? No. Kramer?
Nope.
And I know I'll surprise Mr. Kramer, but I have nothing to say, so.
Yeah, so February 14th is our next meeting, and then again, the board has been invited to the Inquiry Lab, and I think we did post a notice that you may be participating in that. That's through Knowledge Works, so we received the invitation for that. And also, we're talking about the 100th day, so we did have the 100 days. We will send out an FYI to the board with detailed information of our enrollment, where we're at, as well as I know that the board had requested some information about the actual class sizes, and so we'll share that information as well in FYI.
Okay, moving right along to the consent agenda. Does any matter on the consent agenda will be removed from the consent agenda and discuss the regular agenda items upon the request of any board member? Does any board member have anything that they would like to remove from the agenda? Ms. Colgan?
No, thank you.
Ms. Vasquez?
No, sir.
Mr. Beach?
No.
Mr. Kramer?
No.
And I don't have anything either. So, do I hear a
That's the
motion?
First two. What time is it?
Do I hear a motion to pass the consent agenda as is?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. And with no other business on the discuss, this meeting is adjourned at 5:37.
As a record.
Hey.
Oh, 37.
Hey.